What's up, guys? Ryan here with Tampa. So recently I received a comment on one of my YouTube videos that was explaining the legal way to transport and have a firearm in your vehicle in the state of Florida. So I got this comment from a guy named Calvin Howard. So he said, everything you said in the video contradicts everything my instructor told me and CCW class. That tells me, Calvin, that your instructor doesn't know what they're talking about. In that video, I was quoting directly the Florida statutes for having a firearm legally inside of your vehicle. So I'm not just making this stuff up. This is coming from the state of Florida. This is the law. Then Calvin goes on to say, there is no way you can get your gun if you carry it on your person and you wear your seatbelt. You know, Calvin, that's actually something that I hear a lot from people. And this is why I wanted to make this video for you, to just show you that that mindset is wrong. You know, there are a lot of people out there that believe that every time they get into their vehicle, they need to take their concealed carry firearm out and somehow wedge it in between the seat so that they can access a gun quickly. First, let me prove to everybody that it is very simple to get your firearm out of your holster while wearing a seatbelt. So currently I'm carrying a custom Glock 19 in a Tier 1 concealment at the appendix position. So I'm going to explain to you how I put my seatbelt on, and I'm going to show you how fast it is to draw. When I put my seatbelt on, do you see how everything is over my shirt, over the gun? I simply lift my shirt up and I make sure my seatbelt is over my belt. So in any way, does the seatbelt interfere with where the firearm is at? The answer is no. This firearm is unloaded, and I'm just gonna show you kind of how you draw, and I'm gonna do it slow so that you can kind of get the process. So just like every other standard position of presenting your gun, you're gonna first grab your garment. You're gonna rip it up out of the way. So now the firearm is completely exposed. I'm then going to grip the gun, pull it out, orient it towards the threat. Pretty simple, right? So again, grip, grab, pull. Okay, so now that we've debunked the appendix position, let me show you how you can present your gun from the 4 o'clock position, which is what Calvin says the position that he carries his gun in. Now, for this position, I'm gonna take off my Tier 1 concealment setup, and I'm gonna use a Glock 43X. We're gonna put it right at the 430 position. Okay, so now it's comfortable. All right, so I've got the Glock 43X. You can see that it's right there in the 4 o'clock, 430 position, roughly. I'm not a timepiece creator. So I'm gonna put my seatbelt back on. And once again, as soon as I put my seatbelt on, I'm going to simply untuck, make sure my shirt is not caught or snagged on anything and that the firearm is comfortable. Now, if you look, the seatbelt is not in the way of the gun at all. Not at all. Seatbelt has nothing to do with the firearm in the 4 o'clock position. The problem with presenting the gun from the 4 o'clock is your body is in the way. So the very first thing you do once you identify a threat, you've decided that you're going to take a deadly force action, is grip the bottom of the steering wheel, and you're gonna lean forward with your shoulder going towards the left angle of your steering wheel. And then you're going to, with your shooting hand, rip up your shirt, grip the firearm, and orient it towards that threat. So again, let me just show you that one more time. Make sure everything's comfortable. My shirt's all the way down. I see the threat, lean up, rip, grab, pull. So Calvin, a lot of brand new concealed carry permit holders make this mistake. They think that they have to have the firearm, you know, wedged in between the seat, kind of like this, and that's how they're gonna carry the gun concealed. As I've mentioned in lots of other videos, that is very immature and very unnecessary. Number one, the reason that I feel that it is immature is that every time you are removing and then reinstalling your firearm, you're creating an opportunity for the people that are around you to potentially see that gun and potentially overreact. You know, there's cases where people have been attacked, tackled, and beaten up and disarmed, all because when they pulled into a parking lot, they were trying to put their gun back into their waistband. When I wake up in the morning, I take my concealment setup, I put it into my waistband, and it literally does not get removed from my waistband unless I'm filming a video like this, or I get home and I'm ready to change for the evening. It never moves. The second major reason you do not want to have your firearm wedged in the console, stuck to a magnet or something like that, goes to a principle called consistent training. Your brain is made up of billions of neural pathways, and these neural pathways are very similar to a path in a field. Just imagine for a second that if we walked through a patch of grass and we did it every day for a couple weeks, maybe a month, eventually that would become a real path where grass would not grow. And if we did it long enough, that path would get deeper, it would get wider, and vegetation would not grow. That's what happens in your brains when you perform the same task in a similar way as often as possible. That's why we want to train in the exact same way as much as possible. And the more variations that you add in, the more different ways you're having to learn how to draw that gun, the more you're gonna suck. So if we really wanna be ready for a violent attack, I mean life or death, you got a microsecond to identify, orient, and then act. We want to train in the exact same way every time, every single time. Which means when I'm driving, I know, get the garment out of the way, grab the gun, orient it towards the threat, and let him fly. Now if we're adding in a new variable, a new way that I'm gonna have to draw and present that gun, that pathway in your brain is not gonna be as developed as the other path. Now just imagine, instead of having one trail that we're taking down to the river, and over a period of a month, if each day we walk down a different trail, are any of those trails gonna get developed? Are any of those trails really gonna be strong and well-defined? The answer is no. And because of this, you're shortchanging yourself, and you're making it more difficult for you to quickly act and get those shots on a target in a life or death situation. You see, one of the big mistakes that the majority of gun owners make is that they believe that because they're a good guy with a gun, that they are going to survive the violent attack. You are not guaranteed survival because you're a good person. It's the person with the most training. Bad guys are always gonna start up here with a massive advantage over you. You're gonna always start way down here. The reason that bad guys always have an advantage is because they know what is happening, and you don't. So the only way for you to get to the same level as the threat is for you to make decisions faster and act before they can act. This is why consistent training is so critical. Calvin, I really hope that this video helped clarify and answer your question about, is it possible to present your gun from a holster while wearing a seatbelt? I also highly encourage you and everybody else to pick up a copy of my brand new book, Florida Concealed Carry Law. Sounds like Calvin, your instructor, doesn't know what he's talking about. And you know, you kind of mentioned in the comment that he's 60 years old, as if age was an indicator of intelligence. If a person's age was an indicator of intelligence, Joe Biden would know that he's running for US president.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate.
Why they let that guy get on stage, nobody knows. So if you're interested in a copy of my new book, you really want to learn the Florida gun laws so that you don't make a massive mistake like some of these other instructors are doing, pick it up. I'll include a link down below, and I promise you'll be happy you did. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. Hit me up with a comment if you ever practice drawing your firearm from concealment in a car. And until next time, guys, stay safe.